Papa's tale, strumming through the Cartel slaughterhouse. The Sinaloa night was festering wound, the air choked with diesel, sweat, and the sour stink of fear. A shantytown sprawl that'd make a hyena puke. Codename Papa, Delta Force operator with his eyes like broken glass, and a soul scraped raw by too many wars, ghosted through the shadows. His busted 6-string guitar slung across his back, its strings twanging like a hanged man's last gasp. He wasn't here to sing. His English was a guttural growl forged in blood-soaked dirt. But tonight, he was Papa for the boys, spinning a tale for his sons about gutting the Cartel's Fentanyl empire. Sinaloa and Jalisco were slaughtering Americans with their poison pills, and Papa was the reaper come to collect, his M4 smoking, his humor darker than the grave. His guitar screeched, a jagged chord like a buzzsaw through bone. As he led his JSOC team into the kill zone to burn the narcos world to cinders. This was no border bust. It was a slaughterhouse. Sinaloa's labs pumping out fentanyl that dropped kids in Ohio like flies. Jalisco matched their venom, mixing Chinese chemicals with the sicario's sneer. Papa's team, under a top-secret order from D.C., clutched target packages for cartel bosses and the labs. Reaper drones circling above like vultures with hellfire missiles. His guitar, its strings snapping like cartel spines, was his war drum. Its raw notes a middle finger to the narcos. Through this blood-soaked tale, he'd show his boys how to carve through the cartel's evil, step by brutal step. Fentanyl's body count. Cartels are the butchers. Papa belly crawled through a ditch. The cartel labs glow, pulsing like a demon's heart. Fentanyl was a meat grinder, chewing up over 80,000 Americans in 2021. The top killer of men 18 to 45. Sinaloa and Jalisco were the butchers, cooking their poison in shacks with Chinese chemicals smuggled through the borders, where 98% of U.S. fentanyl, Mexican-made, slipped free. Papa's night vision caught a sicario stuffing 8 kilos into a tire well, slick as a rat bound for American veins. These weren't dealers. They were executioners. Their labs, death factories, shredding families from L.A. to Appalachia. He strummed the chord, raw as a slit throat, muttering to his spotter ghost, "Think these scumbags will quit if we send them a strongly worded email?" Ha! His laugh was a dry rasp, like gravel in a coffin. "Nah, boys, we vaporized their labs." A Reaper drone hummed above, its hellfire locked on the lab's roof. Papa nodded, and the night erupted, the strike turning the shack into a fireball, sicarios screaming like pigs in for a slaughter. This was for the dead, for the families, for the fight. Cartels, an invasion of American blood. The shantytown buzzed with cartel drones. There were like flies on a corpse. Sinaloa and Jalisco weren't just narcos, they were a plague. Labeled the most immediate threat to America by intel spooks. Their networks festered in every U.S. state. Chicago, Miami, even Timbuktu nowhere, peddling fentanyl, guns, and terror. They'd shot at Border Patrol towards the U.S. consulate in Nuevo Laredo. Their billions in blood money buying cops, arming goons with rockets, and turning Mexico into a war zone that bled over the border. This was an invasion, plain and ugly, killing more Americans than a decade of desert wars. Papa's guitar twanged, a mocking snarl. They're gunning down our boys, Ghost, he spat, his voice dripping with venom. That's a death warrant. A cartel drone buzzed too close, and Papa's laser tagged it for a Reaper strike. The sky flashed, the drone a smoking wreck. We don't wait for more bodies, he growled. His team slinking toward the plaza's boss, safe house. JSOC was here to cut the head off the snake, and Papa was the blade. Narco-terrorists, JSOC's meat to grind. Papa's team breached a compound, its walls caked with filth and guarded by sicarios with more ink than squid. These weren't street punks. Sinaloa and Jalisco ran paramilitary ops. Los Zetas, alumni wielding machine guns, javelin missiles, and drones that bombed Mexican cops. They studied Ukraine's war like it was a playbook, adapting faster than maggots on a carcass. Al-Qaeda with fentanyl. ISIS with better cash flow. JSOC, Delta, SEALs was built for this. Slicing high-value targets like butter. Northcom's target packages had names: plaza bosses, lab chiefs, Chinese suppliers. Tonight, Papa's drone was locked on El Cuervo, a Sinaloa lieutenant lounging in a villa. Papa strummed the chord, vicious as a garret. "Think you're a king, Cuervo?" he hissed, signaling a strike. A hellfire screamed, the villa erupting in a geyser of flame and screams. El Cuervo's reign reduced to ash. "JSOC's got your number, boys," Papa sneered, his team moving to the next target. Mexico's sovereignty? Sure, till their narcos killed Americans. Then it was open season. Strike in Mexico, bleeding the source dry. The team hit a second lab. Papa's breaching charge blowing the door to splinters. Inside, vats of fentanyl bubbled like witch's brew. Hidden in a shack no border cop would touch. Over 90% of fentanyl slipped through legal ports, often by U.S. mules. But Sinaloa and Jalisco ran the show. Bust one lab, 10 more sprouted up like roaches in a dumpster. The source, Mexico's heart, had to bleed. JSOC's covert ops, honed against ISIS, could gut bosses, labs, and chemical stashes with drones or boots. Trump's September plans, had Northcom and SOC North prepping strikes, and Papa was the razor edge of that blade. A Reaper drone loosed another hellfire, a chemical stash exploding with a toxic blaze, the night sky glowing like a narcos nightmare. Papa zip-tied a screaming chemist, his voice a mocking growl. "What? You thought we would wait for your poison to kill another kid?" He tossed a frag grenade, the lab's vats bursting into chemical inferno. "We cut the flow here, boys, or it chokes our streets." His guitar screeched, a hymn for the damned, as the team pressed deeper into the kill zone. Time's up. JSOC's grim harvest. The shantytown was a furnace now. Lab after lab reduced to cinders, fentanyl smoke curling like a narco's soul to hell. Diplomacy, DEA busts, border walls, useless against this plague. Trump had tagged the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, greenlighting JSOC's wrath. CIA drones scoured Mexico's skies, feeding targets to Delta's crosshairs. Shin bombs whining about sovereignty didn't stop Bubba. International law backed self-defense when cartels murdered Americans. A final drone strike took out the Jalisco Plaza boss, his armored SUV a molten husk. Papa's team exfiltrated, the town a glowing scar behind them. "Time's up, boys," he rasped, strumming a chord like a snapped neck. JSOC's locked, America's bleeding. Cartels think they're gods. We're their apocalypse. Papa slung his rifle, his guitar's strings snapping like a cartel's spines. He spoke with his boys in a low snarl. "This is Papa for the boys. Keep your wits sharper than a seal's knife. Your heart harder than a sicario's skull. We're here to protect our own, crush fentanyl, and bury these narcos in their own ash. Stay frosty."